Welcome back to the Challenger League here in Korea. It's Season 2 of WCS. I am Wolf. With me is Kauter. We just saw a Protoss versus Zerg. We're going to shift gears and go to Terran versus Zerg as well.
Exactly. We have COP coming up next against Life. And that should also be a very interesting game. Of course, a little bit devastating to see Seed go down with the 0-2. We talked a little bit about his way into this match. And yeah, for him, that was really a bad thing to happen. He actually came out of the booth and immediately talked to us a little bit. Was very disappointed, of course, but said that he will not slack off now. Yeah. He will definitely focus on requalifying.
And as you guys just saw, Shine will go on to face Marine King, who did advance over Momri. Momri having a little bit of nerve issues, perhaps, just on Tuesday when we had him play. He seemed to be a little bit shaky here and there, but Marine King was able to overcome him, and now he has to face Shine. So for him, it's good that he doesn't have to shift gears in matchups. So Marine King playing against 2 Zerg players in a row.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the case. But for now, of course, we want to see what exactly is going on with Life here. Life had a pretty good run. He dropped out of the last season and faced in the third round. Marine King took him out with a 2-0, moved on to the OSL, but now he's back in the Challenger League in the first round at that. So if he loses this match, he would be in Code B.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen Life in a place like that, and Cop is not somebody to be underestimated. I would say that Life is still the favorite here, but Cop has been doing better. I watched him play at the qualifiers, actually just standing behind him a little bit, both this last qualifier and the one before that. He's a really fast player, very skilled, and appears to have really good decision-making. So he's not going to be an easy opponent, but like I said, I give Life a little bit of an advantage here.
Yeah, you'd say so. Like, Star Station is going to be our first map. The players are already getting ready here and being invited so that we can start our second game of the day. And this is going to be also the match. Whoever advances here will face the winner of Jakchi versus... was it
Jakchi versus a Protoss player who's escaping my mind?
Starts with a T.
True.
Trust.
Yeah.
I was bouncing between like Trust and True.
I'm like Truth, Trust.
Yeah, so yeah, it's going to be Trust. So one of those two players will face either Life or Cop. And Cop, of course, won the Code A qualifiers, Wolf already said, or the WCS Challenger League qualifier.
Yeah.
And that's always pretty difficult to do. And Life has been shaking a little bit especially against Terran.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we'll see if he can do this. He's on a bit of a slump. Nobody can really argue that. So, is he going to pull a DRG? Well, he's not quite there yet. But, you know, a lot of people have been saying that online on the forum, saying, you know, Life might be over. Is, you know, his extreme success from last year and the early part of this year, is it kind of coming to an end here?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see that happening just because a player doesn't win like every tournament he participates in. But let's see what they can do here. We have a Cop to the right, and we have Life to the left here, the Startail Zerg player. Gonna be our first TVZ today.
Yeah. I always wonder what his ID Cop is all about.
Yeah, I actually don't know. Like, I have no idea.
Find out today if he's the good cop or the bad cop. I'm gonna go through that routine.
Well, Star Station being the first map.
Yeah, this is actually the first time Star Station is not the GSL version, unlike GSTL, so not going to be anything but cross spawns. Cross spawns only on this map, the new version.
As you can see also on the screen, we have, of course, Cop going through the qualifier here from the Challenger League. Let's jump right into game number 1 here in the best of 3. Cop versus Life at the WCS Challenger League. Star Station. Starting to the top right, we currently have our Zerg player. This is
Startail Life.
Starting for Team Startail here. Let's see what he can do. Has a little bit of a rough spot these days, and he's up against a Terran player. Starting to the bottom left in red.
Samsung-kan Cop.
Cop. And
we have a lot of Samsung Khan players today.
We do. We also have a double barracks proxy that is scouted immediately by Life, so this gives him a huge advantage here.
Yeah, the Overlord says hello, and the SCV is now feeling like really awkward.
The second SCV just turns around, and he's just going to do a CC first.
Yeah.
But this is still a bad CC first because he loses a ton of mining from having these 2 SCVs gone.
Exactly.
That's 10 minerals per trip lost from having 2 SCVs gone. That means your CC is late.
But it's really funny how that turned out. I mean, the SCV sees the Overlord and then he's like, well, that is like really awkward now. He's trying to go for an engineering bay block. So first of all, we have, of course, the SCV immediately being attacked, and then he pulls additional drones off the mineral line. Needs to right-click that SCV, though.
Yeah, he messes that up a few more times, but now he gets it. As it was, if he had microed properly against the SCV, this would not have been good. But because he didn't micro, it actually works out for Kopp a little bit here. Definitely still a bit of a shakier opening for him. And he goes into the command or the barracks because he knows the spawning pool timing. He's going to need that first before the command center, and probably going to make his command center even on the high ground. Doesn't have to, but I would see that.
Yeah, there's the cancel on the engineering bay. Of course, we will see now the hatch after the pool, since Life started his pool a little bit faster. But this is now one of those positions where at least Life knows that he was able to get into Kopp's head. Seeing that SCV going across the map this early, Kopp immediately realized that the double barracks opening is not going to happen for him anymore. So he had to adjust, made the best out of the situation as it was. So definitely him not too far behind here, but not really what you want to achieve.
Exactly. Well, the gas going up here, and the command center is on the high ground. Back at home, we do see Life grabs his gas as well, relatively early.
Now that we actually have the game going, let's talk a little bit about the 2 players and their statistics so far in Heart of the Swarm. Life has played 40 games already against the Terran players offline, and he won 68% of them, maps that is. He lost the last few matches against Fantasy, Ryang, and also Show, but it's still a really good record for him. Kopp, on the other hand, didn't play as much, but has also a very solid map win record. He played 8 maps and won 75% of them. But of course his sample size is a little bit smaller. He has roughly played 1/4 of his opponent's games offline. So let's see what exactly Life can do here. He's a little bit in, not really a slump, but he's a little bit less successful these days.
Yeah,
than he was in the past.
Definitely true. He doesn't look dominant. You know, before everyone was saying, you know, the same way people talk about innovation now is how they talked about Life just before. And everyone was saying whenever Life plays, nobody can take him. He has the best Ling splits, you know, against Widow Mines. He is so strong in the late game. He beats every pros. He stops all the immortal pushes. And now, you know, he's still regarded a high level player, one of the best in the world, but does not. He seems less immortal than before. You know, he seems like he actually can lose, and he has.
Yeah, I don't think that we actually have in-game sounds here right now, so that's probably something that's going to be fixed in just a few seconds.
Yeah.
Very fast tech into lair here. This is actually a crazy fast lair tech that we see, even before the 6-minute mark. So that's really interesting. Life is cranking out the gas and is going straight into lair, and he could try to do all kinds of things, starting with, let's say, Mutalisk timing. That would help him also against the attempted Hellbat drop that we see now for his opponent.
Yeah, the Hellbat drop is coming on here. And Life getting a quick lair is nothing out of the ordinary for Life. This guy's been doing it since the beginning. Takes his gases now. You know, it looks like he may just go for quick mutas here off of 2 base. And I could see that. Ling's coming here to scout, and it looks like he will get into the main base. Whoa, that was so close. The Hellions popping out there at that exact moment, denying the scout on the armory. Really, really important here.
Lair is done, and he has the extra gas. There are several attacks that he can try to execute with this, but this is usually a Mutalisk timing. Let's see. Yep, that's the Spire, so no surprise here. We have the Hellions already on the map right now, trying to get, of course, in and get those scouting information, but Overlord spotting them a mile away, and immediately Spinecrawler going down at the front. Hellbats are now on the production tab.
Yeah, Hellbat's coming out here. Marauder on the way. And he's going to have a very aggressive timing he can use. The Mutalisk, though, if he doesn't do a lot of damage, the Mutalisk are going to catch him with a big whiplash back on his way home. He's going to catch the medevac, and of course, then just going to harass while there's not a lot of Marines out, because right now he's not making any Marines. He only has 3 in total, and he's not going to have many more than that.
Yeah. Now we have the 2 additional Spinecrawlers at the front. Spire is halfway done, but the big problem is really this Hellbat drop. This is the one thing that Life has to defend here. If he wants to be successful with this, because those Hellbats, the Hellbats, they are not going to wait for the Mutalisk to be out on the map. So he needs something to deal with it. And to be quite frank with you, he doesn't have a lot at this point.
He has 1 spine in his main base.
And only 3 queens. So he can defend against it, but he has to make an immediate pull.
And there's, you know, the lings he has are not going to be too useful here. He's also drawn away by the Hellions. Now he spots the drop coming in. The Queen's move instantly needs to target the medevac, and so far so good. Pulls the drones really fast here, but here comes the boost, and oh, that was a great pull away at the last second. Yeah. Oh my god.
Really well done so far. The Zerglings immediately pinning those two Hellbats down, and the first one is gone, the second one about to fall, and that medevac doesn't survive either. Those Hellions can attack the third base all day long. That's something that Life is not concerned about.
Yeah. I cannot believe the reaction time and the splits that we saw from Life there. No workers lost, not a single one. That is amazing control, considering that he didn't have a ton of defense set up beforehand, and it was kind of an on-the-spot, I just saw this with my Overlord, oh my god, I need to split my drones right now moment for him.
And that was actually really, really well executed here. And let's see what he can do with the Mutalisks now, because we have already the first Viking on the map that can zone units out, especially with the help of a missile turret. And then you have those added Widow Mines that we also see. So all these things combined should, at least for now, make sure that the Mutalisks don't get too many kills, but they can shut down the drop play, and that gives you so much safety.
Yeah. Here comes the boost. He gets away from the Muse, but what is this? He didn't actually micro that very well at all. And
yeah, he needs to pull again, and he does.
Yeah.
But this time he's losing a couple of units.
A few, well, actually more than a few there at the last second. He loses 6 in total. Not devastating damage, but when your third base is a little bit late like this, you got to be careful about things like that. And oh, I don't know why these 3 SCVs are here, but they will bait some Zerglings into a Widow Mine.
Yeah.
Really not.
Alright, so let's see what Life can do on the other hand. He's trying to, of course, block that base for as long as possible. The Widow Mine shot has already been attacked, and... oh, he's in cooldown.
Widow Mine just not able to get a ton of critical hits there. During all of this, Life lost some Overlords, got supply blocked, and the supply is remaining relatively even. Look at the upgrades of Keller. That's a big problem for Life, because his Mutalisk commitment really delays his upgrades, and he hasn't done a lot of damage with those just yet. So this is going to be an issue, especially going into 2-2. But how much damage can these Mutas get done?
Yeah, the Mutalisk moving in, and they're trying to take down, of course, the Medivac, but that's not really successful at this point. Life still has a lead in overall supply, and is getting this third base also up. He has a decent harvester position here, getting in with the Mutalisk once again. Life is doing a really good job, especially pressuring Cop like crazy now.
Yeah, Cop just does not have the Marine count just yet. He's relying only on the Widow Mines and turrets to defend himself at this moment in time, so Life able to really bully his army quite a bit, and he knew already where some of those Widow Mines were positioned, and he microed against them accordingly. So, got a lot done there. His third base is now completely saturated. Cobb having a little bit more of a rough time, but he does not waste a second on getting his 2-2 upgrades, which is really, really important. I love Life just baiting out these Widow Mines, finding out where they are, triggering them so he can keep coming in with his Mutalisk.
Speed for the Overlords coming in, that's going to help out a lot with the Mutalisk, +2 attack upgrade coming in already. We have the Baneling speed going into Ling Muta Baneling here, adding another micro hatch in the main base to get the lava support that he needs. With a double missile turret defense here, it should not be too difficult for Cobb to hold those Mutalisks at bay, but he can't prevent them from taking down the refinery, and that already limits the gas income, which is really important here for the tech. Once he actually hits a few additional Mutalisks, he can take those 2 turrets on.
Yeah, that was a pretty good trade against those Lings there with the Hellions. Cobb just trying to do something with this Viking. Not going to get it done with all these Mutas out. I think it was a bit overzealous to try to fly across the map like that. You know, Viking not too useful in this situation regardless. Cobb really struggling to have any semblance of map control right now, because he doesn't have... It's a huge map. It's cross spawns. He didn't clean the Overlords up with his Viking. He knows there's a huge pack of Mutas out there, so for him to try to go across the map with a drop, it's just not going to happen. He knows that it's way too risky. He's going to be spotted. The Mutas are going to find him and kill him. Going around the far edge may be his best bet, as we see here. But even that is kind of risky.
Yeah. He's sniping another Widow Mine, and that's actually things that should not happen to Cobb. Cobb is already down in supply a little bit, but of course in this matchup, when it really comes push to shove, the upgrades is what counts, and that's where Cobb already has the 2-2 on the way. Same is true for Life, but he doesn't have the infestation pit just yet to go into the Hive and then later on get 3-3. So we might see once again the armor and attack upgrade advantage for the Terran player that moves in then once he secured himself the 3 bases, gets his tech up, and then goes in. So Life is trying to do as much damage now as he can, but we also have Cobb with counter-aggression trying to get a Medivac in that has been spotted by Overlords already, since we have a lot of them spread out across the map for the Zerg.
He's totally out of position here for this attack coming in. He sees it now. Not a ton of Widow Mines here for defense either, since the Banelings and the SCVs are already pulled on the other hand.
Yeah, a lot of the Banelings trying to move in and immediately trying to take down that one command center. The Orbital, he's actually rolling them in, and then the Mutalisks are there to finish the job, whereas the fourth base, my bad, for Life, is being attacked by the Terran player. He's waiting a little bit longer until those Mutalisks have a chance to move back, but the fourth is gone, so they're trading base for base here.
Base for base here, and Life has to be careful of how he engages this. There's so many Widow Mines. He's baited a few of the shots out, but one shot on those Mutas could change everything. Really good splits by Cop here. He evens up the supply.
Yeah, those Banelings didn't do a whole lot for Life. He's trying to chase down the rest of the army, this time at least killing a few of them, but he needs to do more than that, and he's very reluctant to move in, then we have a lot of Widow Mines being positioned. So Cobb doing a decent job with this, but he's also starting to run a little bit out of resources in his main base. Here come those Mutalisks again, and immediately trying to boost away with the medevac, but the Mutalisks in pursuit.
Yeah, it looks like he intentionally sent those Lings in like that so the Widow Mines would attack the Marines. Really well done. Puts them all low on hit points. Life with just a torrent of units. Now it's 3 base against 2.
Yeah, and we have both of them on 2-2 upgrades, but Cobb started +3 attack. Life is trying to go into Hive now with the Infestation Pit. So for the time being, this is actually where Life has his biggest chance of doing damage or keeping his opponent like small while he himself expands. And that's exactly what he does. Double expand right behind this. He knows that this is the timing window where his army is way stronger, where there are no 3-3 upgrades for his opponent, and wow, he takes down the command center, not even a cancel.
No cancel. Loses the Overseer, so he can't pick up any more Widow Mines, but I don't think he's too concerned about it right now. He has so many music, even just engage turrets, killing so many SCVs in the main base. And Cobb is falling apart here a little bit.
Yeah, this is exactly what we talked about earlier. He has the Mutalisk count now. He can take on the missile turrets.
+3's on the way for Cobb, but for what units? So compared to Life, he just doesn't have a whole lot, and Life is going to be able to start 3-3 very soon. His Infestation Pit is done. He can start his Hive. So yeah, he's going to be ahead in attack upgrades for a while, but this drop, how much damage is it really going to do?
Yeah, Life didn't see that coming. He didn't react. He was busy with his Mutalisk at the bottom left, and now on the top right, the Zerglings moving in, trying to surround those units. Here comes the Widow Mine, immediately the split by Life, and he forces this back without too much damage being done by Cobb.
Yeah, lost a few Lings, basically, that's about it. 3 Widow Mines at a time, still going up for Cobb, who's desperately trying to stabilize right now. He remakes that base once more. In fact, actually moves it out of his main, because he doesn't really have much mining there. And maybe he could trade for 1 or 2 Mutas here. Life micros against it.
Yeah, losing one, taking down the medevac, that was well worth it. And we have now Fungal being researched. Hive Tech not just yet. Good shots with those Widow Mines.
Yeah. Scans forward here. Cobb suspects perhaps a bait. And he's going to go in and try to get a good position on this hatchery. He knows it's not mining. Kills a little bit of larva. Since he knows the hatchery's not mining, he's not really hell-bent on killing it. He's just slowly moving forward, carefully. And he needs to be careful about this counterattack, though.
Yeah, moves in. First shot being baited already. Doesn't see the other Widow Mine. Moving in again, taking down the first few. And the other one before he can even do damage whatsoever. So really well done so far by Life. He's moving in, and Cobb is on his way back. Only sending 1 dropship in the main base of Life. But he doesn't even lift the supply depots. He tried for a second, but there's just too much.
And Life just makes 180 supply Terran look like nothing here. Rolls in. And he is just slashing and burning at this point, killing the command center, goes in the main base, production is camped. Cobb trying to make something work with his small army here. He's got another force at the bottom right of the map that's doing nothing, just sitting idle right now. And Life is making it look easy. Yeah, Life is taking those Marine numbers apart. He has a 60 supply lead now, and even with the Widow Mines getting a few of their shots off, the SCVs at the 3rd base are completely destroyed. He can't fight that army though. Yeah, he needs to pull away, and he does. He kills more and more of these SCVs. Needs to be careful about those Widow Mines. At this point, Life should just walk away, get those investors out, then come in to finish the game in a little bit longer. He even picks off these Widow Mines that were out in the middle of the map. Cobb is completely falling apart at this point. Life is killing him bit by bit. There is just no mining going on here anymore. The only base that he still has where there are mineral patches is the 3rd, and he lost a lot of his harvesters there. So Life is now currently on 2-3 mining bases, even has a couple of patches left in the main, and he has such a magnificent income compared to what Cobb is currently getting per minute. Yep. Well, at this moment in time, I feel like Life has already sealed the deal. He's just kind of waiting for his check to come in the mail at this point, because Cobb has a small army. Right now, army supply is 72 to 104 in Life's favor. Cobb has 1 upgrade advantage over response, 3-2 versus 2-2. With the composition, the tech that Life has, the time he has, all the bases he has, he even still has his creep out there. And he's going into Hive now, which is important. He's in a position where he can finish the game, but just to be on the safe side, he's going into Hive as well to open up the chance to get those additional upgrades. Moves in again, Life that is, takes down 2 of the supply depots. Cobb is just, baits a stim. Cobb just trying to somehow hold
on here, and that has been his problem for the last few minutes. He just can't deal with all this aggression. He has a huge problem. And once again, those Mirror Mines are immediately being attacked upon being spotted.
Right now, Cop is hanging from the ledge, and Life is peeling his fingers off one by one.
He lost
the Banelings.
He lost all of the Widow Mines just now. Like most of them. 2 are left, but that's it. And from every angle, Zerg is moving in. 100 supply advantage here for Life. He's taking down the Medivacs, the Marines, and he is moving in. He could fight the rest of the army with the Mirrorless, no problem whatsoever. He's playing it safe here, though, even taking down more Widow Mines, and this is it. GG! Game number 1.
Life really looking dominant in that game. There was a moment when he was attacking Cop. Cop had 182 supply, Life was maxed out. And in that situation, the Zerg usually is not the one who's just running in charging, but Cop was on the defensive with 182 supply, just sitting back there. He just didn't know what to do against Life. He had the perfect composition.
Talking about Life, you see him there in the booth, it feels to me like he's not really happy. It looks not like he's not happy with the game, but he's like, why am I here in the first place?
Yeah, he's like, why am I, potentially, if I lose 2 games in a row, going to be out of WCS? That's not what he wants. So he's one of the best players in the world. He considers himself to be that.
Yeah.
He holds himself to a high standard.
He doesn't look happy with him being in the first round of the Challenger League at all. He's like, I should not be here. I should have won my games. I should be in the Premier League, and I'm going back into the Premier League. Just you wait and watch me.
Well, he's 1 game away from at least getting himself a spot in the up and downs.
1 more win, that's all that he needs. He's 1-0 against the Samsung Kantaran player here, and a kill on Waze is our second map. We're going into the game right now. Loading screen is already on the monitor. Cop, can he come back into the series? Can he force a game 3, or will Life stomp him here with a 2-0? Now a second best of 3 of the day here, the WCS Challenger League at GOMTV by Carl and Wolf.
Yeah, I wanna know now!